Saddam Hussein has gone to elaborate lengths, spent enormous sums, taken great risks to build and keep weapons of mass destruction.
Saddam Hussein is determined to get his hands on a nuclear bomb.
Nuclear weapon, nuclear weapon, nuclear weapon.
Active chemical munitions bunkers, mobile production facilities.
We know he's got chemical weapons. He's got them, he's got them, he's got them.
It is very much the feeling of what they describe as an Archon world, because the Archons have no creativity as humans do, and therefore their world is stark and ugly and uniform. This is another wonderful symbolic picture of an Archon world, an Archon reality. And that's because these writings say they have no, I think the direct translation is no intentionality. I put it another way, no creative imagination. And the writings from best part of 2,000 years ago make it clear that they envy humans who have this creative imagination, this the ability to create. Like I say, they describe the Archons as cyborgs, a robotic race that can imitate but not innovate. They call it, in a translated word, counter-mimicry. Put simply, if you gave them a blank sheet of paper, they would know what to do with it. But you give them a sheet of paper, rather, with something on it, with something created on it, and they are able to distort it and twist it. But they can mimic and imitate, they cannot create in that sense. Interestingly, they also use the word fantasia. And in that sense, what they're saying is that these Archons, jinn, different names, but I'll use the word Archon as a consistent, have the ability to create fake realities, to distort reality, counter-mimicry, to give people the view or the feeling of a perception that seems real but isn't. Mind parasites, they possess the mind and influence the mind in a negative way, particularly in a negatively emotional way. The one word they say that can absolutely describe the Archons is deception. And also they say that one of their great means of operation, modus operandi, is to invert everything. That's what they're doing, counter-mimicry. They are inverting what is already created so it becomes something else.
Worse than, as I just mentioned, President Obama says the US has evidence that chemical weapons have been used in Syria. He also said it would be a game changer for the US, although only if it's proved the arms are being used by the government. Let's talk to our New York correspondent, Marina Portnaya, now, shall we? Marina, hi there. That's the crucial thing, a game changer if used by the government. What though if it turned out when the investigators go in, they do a bit more rooting around, that it was the rebels that were using it, if they have been used at all? What then?
Well, U.S. President Barack Obama failed to address that option. The only option that he gave was a scenario in which he said if the U.S. finds out that the Syrian government has used chemical weapons against the rebels, then Obama strongly indicated that the U.S. would consider military intervention. But he did not address what would happen if it was in fact the rebels or members of the opposition that have used chemical weapons throughout this ongoing conflict. conflict and war taking place inside Syria. Now, this U.S. intervention, this ongoing 2-year civil war has, of course, drawn the attentions of the U.S. and Western allies, and the West has taken the side of the opposition and indicated that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has to go. But at this point, Barack Obama says that U.S. intelligence officials don't know who has used chemical weapons inside of Syria, how they were used, or when they were used. The U.S. cannot confirm if it was in fact Damascus who's used the weapons. Now, Obama said that his administration doesn't have a chain of custody that establishes exactly what has happened in Syria.
ضربنا الجيش الحر في صاروخ، شمينا ريحة داخل العالم في الأراضي، العالم في الأراضي اتطفت، العالم ماتت في الأراضي، الأولاد. سكر صدري، ما بقيت أحسن أحكي وما بقيت أحسن أتنفس. الله لا يوفقه إن شاء الله بيموت، العالم كلها في الأراضي. ماما طبت في أبوي وأخوي ما بنعرف فينه. الله لا يوفقن، إن شاء الله إن شاء الله بيموتوا. الله لا يوفقن، إن شاء الله بيموتوا. إلهي أي حرية دنيا، أي حرية دنيا، أي حرية بالدنيا. العالم بدن، هن بدني، العالم بتموت. إن شاء الله ما بيضل ولا واحد منن. إلهي ربي.
التشكيلات العسكرية في جبل الأكراد والتركمان تقرر ما يلي: إذا اقترب الجيش النصيري الحاقد ومن يلف لفه مترا واحدا من هذين الجبلين أو آذى أحدا من أطفالنا ونسائنا وأولادنا المحاصرين فإننا سنضطر إلى ضرب. والله على ما نقول شهيد، وقد أعذر من أنذر. وكنا نقاتل نظاما لا نقاتل طائفة، أما الآن فيبدو أنكم ستضطرون إلى أن نقاتل طائفة بعينها ومن يلف لفها، إلا من لاذ بأهل حمى كآل خير بيك، كآل جديد، أو كمن ألقى السلاح، أو كمن عاد إلى أهله وبلده من أهل السنة. لا نريد أن نقتل لا أطفال ولا نساء، وإنما إذا استمرتم في قتال نسائنا وقتلهم وأطفالنا فإن كل شيء مباح، والدم بالدم، والعين بالعين، والسن بالسن، والبادئ أظلم.
دك يا جبال نحن في الهمم اصنع الرجال أيقظ الهمم دك يا جبال دك يا جبال دك يا جبال دك يا جبال.
أبطال لواء التوحيد خلال دخولهم المسجد الكبير 26/2/2013.
الو
شلونك؟
هلا
شو اخبارك؟
والله راسي.
خيو صلي لعند الشيخ. صلي لعند الشيخ سليمان.
ايه
اللي بيسلم عليك ابو حسان.
ايه
ما بدي احكي معه هيك على هاتفه.
ايه
قال له بدي شتمتين هيك يكونوا ضابطين كيماوي.
شو هني؟
شي قنبلتين كيماوي في ذاك الفوسفوري.
هو عنده منهم؟
دبروا لي يعني شلون يعني بيدبر لي.
هلا المساء وانا بنقطك عليهم يلا.
هو بيدبر هو.
يلا راح اشوفه يلا.
وينك يكونوا للنفس عرفت شلون؟ غازات يعني ما بدي شو اسمه.
هلا بسأله انا ما مشكلة.
يلا ضبط لي هيك خلينا نبركي من وعاد ونخلص من الشغله.
يلا
ها؟
يلا تكرم يلا.
هيك لا تحكيني بسعرون. يا اخي شو ما كان يكون بسعرون بدي اياهم.
ما مفعلاتنا شو بدنا نساوي؟
اي لا بدي اياهم فعالات ايه.
يلا اتكل على الله.
يعني يكون دائرة الضرب دائرة الغازات الانتشار الغازات يكون حوالي كيلومتر.
يلا
توكل على الله.
And it's no accident that one of the great forces that worship these archons within human society, what we call Satanism, use inversion as part of its symbolism. The inverted cross, the inverted five-pointed star. And so I've used this quote before in talks, and from this archontic perception, it becomes even more relevant. Michael Elner, who said, just look at us. Everything is backwards. Everything is upside down. Doctors destroy health. Lawyers destroy justice. Universities destroy knowledge. Governments destroy freedom. The major media destroy information. And religions destroy spirituality. Everything inverted. This is classic. Politicians, knowingly, some of them, most of them unknowingly, that are promoters and pushers of the Archontic agenda, they are famous for bloody lying, inversion of truth. This is a quote from the English writer Noel Coward, who said, quite rightly, it is discouraging to think how many people are shocked by honesty and how few by deceit. Such is the level of deceit in our society. One word to describe the Archontic influence: deception. So this force I talked about earlier that operates behind the crazes in politics and banking and business and media ownership and all the other stuff is this Archontic force, which takes many expressions, as I'll come to. And this is absolutely massively significant. The Gnostics talk about something called hell in relation to these Archontic manipulators, and hell means, in our translation, simulation of a virtual reality. A reality that appears real to the decoder, but is not actually real. It's a fake reality.
تحيا سوريا حرة أبية تحيا سوريا حرة أبية تحيا سوريا حرة ما تشوفيون تحيا سوريا حتى وصول اجواء وصول على المكان هون. يا الشام الشهامة وصدوا غبار الذل على كتافه.
أنا نقيب أول شادي جلبي من إدارة المخابرات العامة، فرع 251 قسم 40. شو أول مهمة كلفت فيها؟ كلفت من المقدم محمد عبد الله بقمع مظاهرة نسائية جانب الجامع الأموي، واعتقلت الناشطة السياسية مروة الغميان.
Physical control. I'll get through this pretty quick. Physical control. Okay, major aspect of physical control. Take over the countries. This is not a map, it's a wish list. It's a wish list of countries in North Africa, the Middle East and the Near East, which they are picking off one after the other. Libya, now they're into Syria, they're starting trouble in Lebanon, they're in Iraq, they're in Afghanistan. Of course, they want Iran. And what they're doing is they're finding different excuses to pick off different countries, because they have to find different excuses, or people might think that there's a pattern here. This is what Libya looked like in 2007. This is what the same street looks like in 2011. This is Libya. Hey, you are free. And this is what happens when you pepper bomb cities to protect civilians from violence. What happened? I got no brief for bloody Gaddafi and all that stuff, but that's not the point. What happened was that they've got this system where they want to target someone. So what they do is they fund and train rebels covertly, and they bloody arm them.
كان بتدير له خصائص ما كان بتشوش ما عادش تشبح شيء. هو يتحرك الكلب ريتاه. هو طلع
And then they get the rebels to start shooting at government targets. Political response, media response. Then the governments start shooting back at the rebels.
ما بشوف علينا الله السطح يجيب واحد جو الانشطه عم يضربوا علينا على قالوا كده جو الصف شايفين وين هن جيد أجل.
6 قضية على الأنشطة.
سيدي ما فيني 6 من هون، أنا بس وقفت في عالم بالأمس بشأن الحزب ما فيني بس وقفت يضربوني إليه.
هلا نحن هيك نضربها لشعب الحزب قذيفة. يلا.
يلا نديروا بالكم يا حسن والله بالشغل والشربة. بس والله ما في الشغل ما هو جبل.
Political response, they're shooting and killing their own people. Media response, the same. Oh, we've got to send people in, humanitarian, and in come the de facto bloody world army, NATO, dropping bombs everywhere. And now they're doing the same in bloody Syria. Not a Syrian civil war, it's a mercenary bloody war, that's what that is. You know, NATO bloody weapons here in the boxes for them. And this neocon organisation, the Project for the New American Century, it was behind the Bush administration, and in September 2000, before the Bush administration came in, it produced a document which called for the incoming Bush administration and America to fight, quote, multiple theatres of war in places like Libya and Syria and all these countries. But it said in the document in September 2000, but this process of transformation, this takeover of country after country, was likely to be a long one, absent some catastrophic and catalyzing event like a new Pearl Harbor. 1 year to the month after that document was published, 9 months after the same people came to power in the Bush administration, the United States had what Bush called our Pearl Harbor, and as a result, they justified the targeting of all the countries that were in that document. This is a man called General Wesley Clark, and he said this in a television interview. This is not God's gift of peace either. He led the NATO attacks in the former Yugoslavia. But he said in a television interview in 2007 that immediately after 9/11, he was told that a coup was being plotted by Dick Cheney, Vice President then, Don Rumsfeld, Defense Secretary, Paul Wolfowitz, Defense Secretary Deputy, and what he called a half a dozen other collaborators from the Project for the New American Century that included an invasion of Iraq. 6 weeks later, he said, he was back with the guy, and he saw the same officer, and he said, "Why haven't we attacked Iraq? Are we still going to attack Iraq?" And this officer said to him, this is again, after 9/11, 6 weeks, "Sir, it's worse than that." The officer pulled up a piece of paper off his desk and said, "I just got this memo from the Secretary of Defense's office. It says we're going to attack and destroy the governments in 7 countries in 5 years. We're going to start with Iraq, and then we're going to move to Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran." And Clark said the aim of the plot was they wanted us to destabilize the Middle East, turn it upside down, and make it under our control. And that is the agenda that's been followed, and all these excuses to pick off country over country are just that, bloody excuses. And of course, One of the things they want is to get to the China and Russian border. They want a third world war with China and Russia. It's been in their documents for ages. And so what we're seeing are these people going through the Middle East using different excuses to pick off their target countries. You know, oh, America stands for freedom. We want to protect Brazilians. We only care about peace. Ah, only kidding, only kidding. She's Hillary speaking. No, I just love it. Ooh, yes, I love it. Syria next, kill them. Oh, I love it. There you are, that's bloody NATO. There you go, I like that. So we look at Iran. We look at Iran, and this is how many wars they have instigated or fought since the Second World War. Actually, that's how many they've instigated for about 200 bloody years. This is how many the USA has fought with Britain in tag most of the bloody time since the Second World War. These are American bases around Iran. Who's threatening who, one wonders? Iranians are just the same as you and me. People that just want to get on with their lives and their families and all the rest of it. But let's demonize them. Let's demonize them and let's bomb them. Why? We have no heart. We love death.
And on the quiet, they train people in the art of civil disobedience, not in a positive way to actually bring freedom, but to provide an excuse. To provide an excuse.
Windy days seem to blow the holidays through my heart that's vocally shattered nowadays. Coming to conclusions that it's revolution in the hearts of men that seem to be the new confusion. Get it right or don't get it at all. And the measurement of joy in men has been at a crawl. Working in an intellectual prison, not knowing all the gifts we have been given. It's the GMO food we consume, how we spend our lives chasing the shadow of the moon.
It's very moving.
And everything else like fluoridated water that makes motherfuckers die young and less smarter. The secession will begin. We're much too tired to go through this again, friend.
It's very moving.
Intelligent revolution of mankind restoring the Constitution. We'll repeat
an agenda. You have an agenda.
I mean, under the light, an animal can only take so much abuse, right?
And I watched.
We've got to come to our senses and know that we're being biologically attacked. Senseless. It seems so strange. In the twilight zone, it's comparison nowadays.
And I watched.
And some don't get it at all. That the joy in men has been forever at a war. Maybe it was the vaccinations that we put in our kids just to learn that there was mercury contained in them. Or maybe it was simple statistics that made motherfuckers like me just go ballistic. Either way, the secession will stay. It's growing in the hearts of men, liberty's taken away. And it feels in your skin like something you did, but you really didn't.
Common theme, you see. The people in power that were controlled by us before become different people in power afterwards.
عبرتي سيد الرئيس سيد الرئيس سيدي بعدين صبر حد يا سيدي وفاق وين صبرت مصطفى الله عليك مصطفى ان شاء الله صبرت سيد الرائد صبر عبدي يا سيدي عندنا من الشاشة هم تعنا الزفاء زي ما احنا عارف يلا ريح ريح لك خلص يا سيدي كل روح بدل حتى رمي السادة عندهم ينزفت كله ضاع دمه يشوف دمه ولا فايده بس عشان العالم واخر شغال الشاشه في جوال تيجي هون مصطفى مصطفى الرجال بتخلي معه
These bloody pillets doing all this stuff. Violent extremists, yeah, look in the bloody mirror. Look at them. Talk about inversion. The bloody terrorists fighting terrorism. I love it. War is peace, slavery is freedom, ignorance is strength. What is that? Archontic inversion. It's all a bloody movie that we're coming through, and it's all leading up to World War III. I'm not going to go into this in bloody detail because of time, but Rothschild Zionism, which is actually not about Jewish people, it's about a secret society created and instigated and controlled by the Rothschilds, that the Jewish people are just used as the bloody front to cover the real thing about Rothschild Zionism, which is it's a bloody secret society and part of the cabal.